Welcome to Spider Tales. Get ready because today's story is insane. My entitled family wants to take my inheritance and give it to my brother, even though he... The story of Gabriel and his family began with bonds that seemed unbreakable. He was the eldest son, and since he was young, he was always seen as an example to be followed. Hardworking, disciplined, and with a strong sense of responsibility, Gabriel always knew what he wanted from life. He worked hard, built a solid career, and, over time, became a successful businessman, owner of a respected company in the market. However, the same could not be said of his younger brother, Leon. Leon was always the opposite of Gabriel. Since he was a child, he never showed any interest in studying or working. His hobbies consisted of going out with friends, playing video games, and living without commitments. Gabriel, as much as he loved his brother, was always worried about his future. The differences between them were glaring, and the way each one led their lives ended up causing family friction. As the years went by, things only got worse. While Gabriel was flourishing in his career, Leon was bouncing from job to job, never staying in any one place for long. He was fired constantly, almost always for cause. The reasons ranged from unexcused absences to lack of interest in the work and even bad behavior. And each time Leon was let go, the tension in the family grew. Gabriel and Leon's parents, Marta and John, always tried to protect their youngest son. They saw Leon as someone who had not yet found his way, and they constantly found excuses for his failures. To them, the world was unfair to Leon, and somehow the blame for their youngest son's lack of success fell on Gabriel. Marta, a soft-hearted woman who always cared about her children's well-being, often tried to convince Gabriel to hire Leon at his company. "He just needs a chance," she would say. "If he works with you, I'm sure he'll change." John, on the other hand, was more direct. He believed that Gabriel had a moral obligation to help his brother. After all, family was everything. "Gabriel," John would often say, "you have more than enough. The least you can do is give your brother a chance. He needs stability, someone who believes in him. You have the means to do that." Gabriel would often try to explain that the problem wasn't just giving Leon a chance, but that his brother had never shown any interest in putting in the effort and actually working. Hiring him would mean jeopardizing the company he had worked so hard to build, and Gabriel wasn't willing to do that. Besides, he knew that if Leon was hired and it didn't work out, the family's problems would only get worse. "Dad, Mom, I love Leon, but he needs to understand that things aren't as easy as he thinks," Gabriel would reply, trying to remain calm. "It's not just about getting a job, it's about keeping the job, it's about working hard. It's about proving that he deserves to be there. And he's never shown that he wants to do that." But Gabriel's words were rarely well received. His parents, blinded by their unconditional love for Leon, began to harbor a growing resentment toward Gabriel. To them, Gabriel was refusing to help, was being selfish, and only thought of himself. And little by little, this resentment turned into a chasm between Gabriel and the rest of the family. The years passed, and the family situation deteriorated even further. Leon continued to live a disorderly life, and Gabriel continued to expand his business, now with several branches in different cities. Gabriel's success only increased the tension. His parents stopped visiting him, and family gatherings became rare and uncomfortable. On the few occasions when they were all together, the conversation always ended in arguments about Leon and Gabriel's role in helping his brother. Gabriel began to feel the weight of always being the villain in the story. He became increasingly isolated, immersing himself in work and avoiding family contact whenever possible. The situation reached its critical point when, on one of the rare visits to his parents' house, Gabriel was confronted more directly. "Do you think you're above everyone else, Gabriel?" Marta exploded during dinner. "Just because you got everything you wanted, you think you can ignore your family? You think you can turn your back on your brother?" Gabriel, who was tired of the same old arguments, responded in a tone he himself had not expected to use. "Mom, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to take Leon by the hand and take him to work every day? Do you want me to do his work for him? That's not fair. Can't you see that he's never wanted anything to do with his life?" John, who had been silent until then, slammed his hand on the table hard. "You're the older brother, Gabriel. Your obligation is to help your brother, no matter what he does." Gabriel, frustrated and sad, simply spoke up from the table. "If that's how you think, then maybe it's best for me to step away. I could be the only one to blame for everything that goes wrong in Leon's life." And that's exactly what he did. Gabriel cut ties with his family, limiting himself to sending money to his parents from time to time, but no more visits, no more phone calls. He focused on his business and his own life, trying to move on. The distance between him and his family became irreparable, and Gabriel resigned himself to living alone. The years passed and Gabriel prospered even more. He expanded his business internationally, becoming a respected figure in the business world. His name was synonymous with success and integrity, and he became one of the most influential businessmen in the country. But behind all his success, there was a void. The absence of his family weighed heavily on his heart, but he knew there was no going back. Then one day, Gabriel received an unexpected email. It was from his parents, Marta and Joao, and the message was short and to the point. Gabriel, we need to talk about the inheritance. You already have a lot of money and don't need any more. We have decided that your share will go entirely to Leon. I think that is the fairest thing to do. We hope you understand. Gabriel read the email several times, unable to believe what he was reading. His family, whom he had not seen for years, were now taking from him what was rightfully his, claiming that he already had more than enough. The shock gave way to a mixture of anger and sadness. It wasn't about the money, Gabriel had more than enough, but about the lack of attention, the injustice that seemed to have no end. He closed his laptop and remained silent, trying to process everything. How had things gotten to this point? How could his own family treat him with such contempt? The feeling of abandonment and betrayal that I felt at that moment was like an open wound. He knew that, no matter how hard he tried, he would never be able to forgive his parents for that. The following days were difficult for Gabriel. He tried to focus on work, but the idea of being abandoned by his parents in favor of Leon consumed him. He began to question his own actions, whether he had been too hard on his brother, whether he had done something to deserve such treatment. But deep down, he knew that he had done the right thing, that he had tried in every way to help Leon, but that in the end, he couldn't carry his brother on his back forever. So, one lonely night, Gabriel decided it was time to face the situation. He knew that he would avoid the problem that would solve nothing, and that I would need to face reality head-on. He picked up the phone and called his parents. The line rang several times before Marta answered. Hello. His mother's voice was so distant, almost cold. Mom, it's me, Gabriel. I got your email, he began, trying to remain calm. We need to talk about this. Marta was silent for a few seconds before answering. There's nothing to talk about, Gabriel. We've already made our decision. Gabriel felt a lump in his throat, but it didn't change. I just wanted to understand why, Mom. Why do you think I don't deserve the inheritance that by right would also be mine? The reason is simple, Gabriel. Marta's voice is so firm, but full of resentment. You already have everything. You built your life, made your money, and you don't need anything else. Leon, on the other hand, has nothing. He needs this money to have a chance at life, to start over. And we think it's only fair that he gets everything. But he's never wanted anything, Mom. You know that, Gabriel replied, his voice cracking. He's always been like this since he was little. And now you want to take away from me what should be rightfully mine, just because you think he deserves more. Gabriel, we've already made our decision. John came on the line, his voice hard and uncompromising. You have a lot, and Leon needs a chance. We're not going to change our minds. Gabriel felt despair inside him. So that's it. Do you really believe that I'm the villain in this story? That I'm responsible for everything that went wrong in Leon's life? We just think he deserves a chance, Marta replied, her voice thick with emotion. He's our son, just like you. But he never had the opportunities that you had, never had the same luck. This isn't about luck, Mom, Gabriel replied, feeling his anger and frustration build. It's about hard work, about responsibility, about doing the right thing. And I've done all of that. I've worked hard to build my life, and now you want me to punish myself for it. No one is punishing you, Gabriel, John replied second. We're just giving Leon what he needs to have a decent life. Gabriel felt a deep sadness for himself. He knew there was no point in arguing anymore. His parents had made their choice, and nothing he could say would change that. He took a deep breath, trying to keep his cool. If that's how you think, then there's nothing more to be done here. I'll respect your decision, but know that as of today, I'm no longer part of this family. Marta tried to respond, but Gabriel hung up the phone before he could hear what she had to say. He was silent for a long time, the emptiness remaining. The feeling of being betrayed by those he loved most was unbearable, and he knew that from that moment on, his life would never be the same. In the days that followed, Gabriel decided to cut all ties with his family. He blocked his parents' and Leon's numbers and moved to another city, where he bought a new house and tried to start over. Although professional success was still on his side, he knew that he could never fill the void left by the loss of his family. But despite the pain, Gabriel found the strength to move forward. He dedicated himself even more to his work, expanding his business and helping other people who, like him, had been wronged by life. He began supporting social causes, offering opportunities to young people who needed a chance, as Leon once did. But unlike his brother, these young people were willing to work hard, to fight for their dreams. Over time, Gabriel found a new reason to live. He realized that, although his family had had experiences against him, he could still make a difference in the lives of others. And with these young people, he found a way to deal with the pain of betrayal. Little by little, Gabriel began to heal. He knew he would never forget what happened, but he also knew he couldn't let it define his life. He had lost the family that raised him, but he found a new family in the people who helped him along the way. And so Gabriel moved forward, stronger and more determined than ever. He was no longer the young man who needed his parents' approval, nor the older brother who felt responsible for Leon. He was simply Gabriel, a man who, despite all the adversities, managed to find his own path in life. And in the end, he knew that, no matter what, the most important thing was to maintain his integrity and follow his own values. Because, in the end, that was what really mattered. And that's the story so far. More updates soon. If you've made it this far, click the like button and subscribe to the channel, and until next time, bye.